All right, welcome. Good morning into another edition of Catching Up with Tommy Mac here on the 1010XL podcast platform, 1010XL.com, 1010XL app, live on Facebook, recorded also here in the 1010XL podcast studios, and then shared all over the place to YouTube, Spotify, you name it, wherever you watch, listen to your favorite podcast. You'll find Catching Up with Tommy Mac and a ton of other great content that's filmed right out of here from the 1010XL studios. Other NFL guys, Campo and, of course, Joe do a great show. Grammage and Dylan do a great show with the Gator Nation. They do, covering the Gators, and a lot of good stuff that comes out of here. Lots to get into today. The draft's 1 month away, of course, from today, and we'll get into all of that. We'll take a look around the news and notes of the National Football League. Couple interesting ones out there. Looking at the Jags depth chart, looking at the Jaguars roster. Who are you ready to move on from? I've got a list. Think about it, and we'll go through that. Like, who you just not, and it's not, look, they're terrible. No, it's not that. It's just I've seen enough, and I'm ready to move. Like, I need fresh blood. I need somebody fresh. I know what they're capable of. It's not enough for me, and it's time to go, is the way I'm putting that out there. We'll look at a couple other things as well. These quarterbacks, I put it out on Twitter. I can see Tennessee starting over with Cam Ward. I don't see the Giants. I think Sanders is a little too much of a project to take that high, in my opinion. And like I was saying earlier on Facebook Live, I don't like hearing that he doesn't have the arm. He's got a good arm. It's an okay arm. Got great timing and anticipation, which typically means, it's not that great. The arm's not that great. Now, he's a smart guy, cerebral, knows the game. I'm not saying I wouldn't draft him or wouldn't take him. I just don't know if I'd take him at number 3 if I'm the New York Giants. I know they grabbed Jameis Winston. You may scoff at that a little bit, but let me tell you something. They did it for a reason. Just an insurance policy. Hey, if we got to roll with Jameis for a little bit, we will. And we'll wait till next year's crop comes out and look at it from that standpoint maybe. I mean, Cleveland may be looking at that too. They bring in Kenny Pickett. You may scoff at Kenny Pickett. I may scoff at Kenny Pickett. But they did it for a reason. They don't want to be forced into because, listen, we've seen it here in Jacksonville. You miss on your first-round quarterback pick, it sets you back 3 years. At least 2. It does. Because you got to play him. You got to try to play him. Now, maybe you got someone in front, like a veteran that can, you don't have to play him right away, but eventually you got to throw him in there. And then what if he's not it? For whatever reason. Goes for Cam Ward, too. I think you mitigate your risk a little bit more with Cam Ward, with his playmaking ability and his arm. You can hopefully teach him better awareness, and that deep throw accuracy is from what I'm hearing. But nonetheless, we got a lot to get into. And before we move any further, let's say hello to Grammage, fresh off his bachelor party in Las Vegas. Hi, Graham.
Fresh off, that's right.
How you feeling, buddy? The voice has got a frog in it. There you go. Get it up. Get it out.
Voice is on the road to recovery.
Okay.
And then make no mistake, I sound terrible, but I feel fine.
Okay, good.
Yesterday I was hurting pretty bad.
Yeah, I bet.
Took a red eye home, not a lot of sleep, body clock's all out of whack. Going hard weekend. You know all the stuff. The voice is the one thing that's taken a while to catch up.
That's okay. It will. Get some lemon in there.
Right, but it sucks because I'm getting there. Like I feel fine. Like I'm doing my whole thing today. I'm being productive. Whatever. But everyone hears me. They're like, "Oh God,
dude, you must have partied hard."
right. Like you're just a corpse of your former self.
But, all right, you're ready to get married now, right? You got bachelors out of the way. Boom. Here we go. Good, man.
Absolutely.
Good for you.
Fiance had a great time in Charleston as well. She's out there with the girls and
awesome.
No, man,
awesome.
I had a moment where I looked around. I'm like, I got all the boys here. Like, life's pretty great.
Yeah, it's pretty great.
Yeah.
Good for you, man. That's awesome. Memories forever. I'm not going to break down March Madness. I'm not going to get into it too much. Congrats to the Gators. I thought that was a great game. It's fun to watch. I do got to ask Grammage because I need a little clarification here. At the end of the Maryland game, the guy took 3 steps, this gather step. What is it? And I don't quite get it. Like, gives you a chance to hold on to the ball so you can take a free step and then take two more?
Yeah.
When was that implemented? When has that been okay? And let me ask you this before you answer. Is it equivalent to, like, possession on a catch in football? Right? It's 1, 2, and then that third step, if you fumble, it's a fumble. Right?
Kind of, yeah.
I don't really get it, man. I don't know. You catch the ball, you take 2 steps, you shoot.
So basically when you dribble the ball and you go to pick it up, the step as you're going to pick it up counts as like you're still dribbling.
He threw it to his chest, didn't he?
But he took a dribble and then picked it up. So
okay.
If he had never dribbled, then it would have been a travel.
So you can dribble once, then take 3 steps.
2 steps after that. But
you're counting the 1 step as a dribble? Man,
yeah, so basically what they're saying is your gather step, the step while so you dribble the ball.
Gather.
And as the ball's coming back up, that step you take while you're picking it up.
That's the gather step.
That's the gather step. That step does not count.
Okay.
So it looks like because the ball never hits the ground again.
Right.
That's the third.
But you got to dribble. You can't do that on a like catch it, take 3 steps. So you got to dribble, and on that dribble up, you can take that step.
Correct.
Okay. Then it wasn't traveling. It looked like traveling. It looked like he took 3 big steps to the basket.
What I equate it to more so, Tommy, is like it's one of those things also where anytime your team loses a football game, you can go back and slow-mo some holding play.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, sure.
We're like, right, holding,
no,
whatever.
Right. Yeah.
It's the
it never comes down to the one play. Right.
Because, I'm sure, of course, and if that happened to me, I'd probably be doing the same thing. I'm sure, of course, Colorado State fans after the game were like, travel.
Yep.
What you're not seeing is there were probably 15 plays in that game where Colorado State did the exact same move, and they never called the travel.
Yep.
This is why with not all, some coaches will cry like babies, but most coaches, and I think this is fair, just want the refs to be consistent.
Right. What do you think Dan Hurley's thinking?
Oh, my God. What a loser that guy is.
That was really unclassy, man.
I mean, come on, bro. But it's like, it's one of those things where it's like, okay, if the refs have been, because the gather step in the NBA never gets called.
Right.
Ever.
Yeah, no, they're traveling all over the place.
That's not a gray area in the NBA. In the NBA, they straight up don't call it.
Right.
In college, some refs are really police it hard and some don't. It's like holding, it's like pass interference, kind of a similar thing. I'm willing to live with it either way as long as the ref is calling it both ways kind of the same.
Okay. As long as they're fair. That's fair.
Right.
Okay, I get that.
I err on the side of don't call it.
Right. Well, especially at that point in the game, I can understand that. All right, well, good luck to Florida and all of that. Like I said, draft 1 month away. I got a little list here, Grammage, of Jaguars that I'm just ready to see go. You know what I mean? Like, seen enough. Doesn't mean they're bad. I don't think they're going to take us to the next level. Like, I think you can upgrade them. Who would you have? Give me 3. Give me 3 guys.
Are these like starters or just
doesn't
guys
matter
on the team or
just anywhere on the team?
Mine.
For the record, I have no starters but guys that play a lot or did
no
play
starters
a lot.
but guys that play a lot. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. He's not a starter. He didn't play much at all last year. Luke Fortner.
Okay, Fortner I got on my list. I do have a question mark because of the connection to Liam Cohen. But that doesn't mean we're not done with them. You've seen enough of them.
Yeah, I'm out.
Fair.
Because Brandon Sheriff, they've already moved on from.
Yeah, he's gone anyway.
So
we think he's gone
anyway.
How about Wingard?
Yes.
Me too.
Done.
I've got him on my list. He's number 1. And I got nothing against Andrew. I just, you talk too much. You just talk too much. And I know just from experience, at least in my era, that wouldn't have flown in the locker room. Talking about how good of a ball player you are, and you ball, and you ball, and you ball. And then you're not a bad player, but you're not that elite of a player. So quit acting like one. Quit talking like you're one, but whatever.
A big one for me that we may disagree on is I'm done with Devon Hamilton, man.
Yeah. Actually, Dale, when the pre-show, I got to give him credit. But yeah, I got Hamilton down. I got Hamilton. I got Muma too. You know?
I mean, yeah.
Muma's just. I mean, I don't know. I tell you, I got Ledbetter on that list.
Yep.
I've got Abdullah on the list.
Tyler Lacey.
I got Tyler Lacey on the list. It's not fair because he's been injured, but I got Cooper Hodges on the list.
Same.
It's just time to move on.
Agree with all the above.
Yeah. I don't know if I'm missing anybody.
If we're trimming the fat at the high end,
right,
let's trim the fat at the low end.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Raise your floor. You got to cut the fat off the floor.
So, you're willing to move on. I know expenses factor in, but you're willing to move on from Christian Kirk and Evan Ingram.
Right.
Let's be willing to move on from Devon Hamilton.
Yeah.
Right.
You just know what you got. And look, in their defense, this goes for Hamilton, Lacey, and Ledbetter. None of you are one techniques.
No.
You're not. You're not built to play one technique. Even Devon, which you think Devon would be able to, but he's not. He's not a one technique. Don't keep trying to make him one because he's not. And you have way too many three techniques.
Would you say, Tommy, that the cardinal sin of a one technique would be getting too high in your stance?
Yeah, because you're going to get doubled.
You always say he gets too high in his stance.
He does. When he gets tired, he's high. Now, when he makes a play, he's in perfect leverage. But then when they get tired, not just him, other guys too, they get tired, they stand up.
You think Vita Vea gets too high in his stance?
I don't.
Not very often.
No, he does. No, I don't. No, and he's built lower to the ground, so that helps. But no, I don't see that at all.
Yeah.
Early in the year, I saw Mason Smith getting too high, in later in the game, because what do you want to do when you get tired? You stand up. You don't stay in your football position, technique position. It'll be interesting what they. I went on the Jags. ESPN has all the latest in the new acquisitions and whatnot, and where they are in the depth chart. I don't know if you guys seen this on ESPN.com. When you go to the roster, though, they haven't changed the roster. You still see Beathard, is on the roster, and clearly he's not anywhere here. But I noticed on the Jags depth chart, Chuma Edoja is the second left tackle behind Walker. And which doesn't totally mean anything right now, but just hear me out. The others they have correct, by the way, and other teams as well. Like, whoever they brought in is going to start, right? They got Hainsley as the center. They've got Makari as the guard. Right now, those are our starters, right? They have Chuma as a second left tackle, Fred Johnson as a third left tackle. So that'll be interesting if they're going to give Chuma a shot at that left tackle spot. I think it's open for grabs. There may be pencil, for Ezra and Walker, but I think that can be erased pretty quickly. The one guy I didn't see on there, and I haven't seen any moves with him in free agency, is Caleb Johnson. And to me, Liam, you got to keep this guy on your team. Him and Daniel Thomas would never leave my team. They are demons on special teams. They come to work you know what I mean? And if you need them in a pinch, they can do enough. So to me, I'm keeping those guys, man. I'm keeping Daniel Thomas, and I'm keeping Caleb Johnson without a doubt, just for special teams purposes alone. When I saw that, I was like, wait a minute, I don't remember him moving on. Maybe they just haven't re-signed him, but I hope they do, because I think he can be quite the specimen on special teams. I think he does a great job. New quarterback room, like I said, Trevor, Nick Mullins, John Wolford. You got to love it. What is it? What a support system right there. Think about it. Nick Mullins comes from Minnesota. Where does Wolford come from? Anybody? The Rams, the Los Angeles Rams. He's been around, but he spent time with Sean McVay and the Rams. So it's a nice little connection of how the system's going to be run, and they're veterans, and they've been around, and they're going to be a nice support system for Trevor Lawrence. Help him learn the calls, the system. Just be there for him, and give them his their 2 cents when called upon. So that's going to be an interesting room. Speaking of quarterbacks, I was talking earlier, man. I don't. Shadur Sanders, he scares me a little bit, Graham. It should take high in the draft. And to me, I don't think the Giants take him if he's there. I I don't think I would either. I would wait maybe for – I don't like hearing that both of them, although I think Cam's a lot closer, that none of them would be better than the 6 from last year, the 5 from last year, right? They wouldn't be ranked higher than the 5 guys that were taken in the first round last year. That, to me, throws up a huge red flag. Just because you're great in a bad class doesn't mean you're going to be great in the NFL. The thing about Sanders that bothers – look, I think he'll be a great locker room guy, without a doubt. I think he's very likable. I think he's a good leader. At least he's shown that. Good enough athlete. Really smart. But I don't like hearing that he's all timing and the timing anticipation. It's like, like I was saying earlier to Facebook Live, like, Mama coming home when you're a teenager. Oh, I met this girl for you. She's really cute. Really nice. Great. Let me see her. Oh, Ma, that's not my type. You know it's not my type. Yeah, but she's really nice. We'll be friends. You know what I mean? That's what it's almost a little too risky at number 3, which means what to me? I know a lot of talk yesterday. Travis Hunter. Look, if he falls, how do you not take him? I don't think he's going to fall. I don't. And if he does, I think someone's going to trade up to number 4. Because if New England can still get their offensive tackle, why wouldn't they trade it? You know what I mean? They need a left tackle for Drake May. That's like their number 1. Now, Travis Hunter's that kind of talent that you may say, yeah, we'll get a tackle later. But we know you got to protect the QB to a certain degree. I mean, you got to at least have some protection, and Drake May needs it. They all need it. So I can see somebody coming up and being like, hey, let's jump in front of Jacksonville and grab Travis Hunter. I think that could happen. I don't know if it'll happen at number 3, but it could. Look, again, you may scoff at Winston, but the Giants are like, hey, he's our insurance policy. We may not win a Super Bowl with him, but he can hold down the fort for us for another year as we figure it out. So you don't have to be forced into taking it. I'm telling you, we've seen it here, man. You miss on the QB. You miss out on a couple years at least. You do. And you're seeing that. If you're the Titans, what do? I think you take Cam Ward. I think his workout was pretty good yesterday. I think you take him. By the way, the Michigan workout, no numbers on Mason Graham. Did he not work out? Anybody out there? I didn't see any. You saw Kenneth Grant. You see his numbers? Pretty impressive. 330 pounds, running a 5'1". Big boy. I don't know. See if they move back. That could be a situation. But it's going to be fun. Saw a rumor about Travis Etienne Jr. traded to a thought of being traded to New Orleans. Why would they? Don't they got Kamara still? Isn't right? They got Kamara. Isn't that how Travis should be used, like Kamara? Right? I think Jacksonville keeps Travis. I would. I'd keep him and utilize him, and I think he's got enough skill set to really make a difference.
I think next year is the decision year for Etienne. This year, keep
Keep him. He's still under his rookie deal. You don't have to move him.
No.
You're not going to get anything for him. I mean, I don't know about anything, but what are you going to get for him?
This year, you roll with the backs you got. And
what would you get? Seriously. 4th? 5th?
Probably, I'd say 4th.
Okay. This year or next year? That's a thing this year, it seems. Oh, we'll give you a pick, but next year. I don't know if I'd like that.
You can get a 4th this year, I think.
What's that?
You can get a 4th this year, I think, for Etienne.
For this year?
I think so.
Yeah. Okay. I'm not moving him whatsoever. Puka Nacua says he's going to retire at 30. Nice game plan there, man. I tell you what, you can get in and out and make a ton of money while doing it. Good for you. Brandon Cooks back to the Saints. That guy, man, when healthy, he's the guy that gets 1,000-yard seasons everywhere he goes, right? Like he's been to 8 teams, hadn't he? Was with New England for a little bit. He's been all over the place. But he still produces at a high level. I mentioned Jameis going to a 2-year deal. If I'm Rodgers, I think I'd go to the Steelers. Why wouldn't you? I mean, I would rather go. I would definitely over the Giants. Yeah, just the steel curtain would be fun to play with. I don't know what the holdup is with Rodgers. Maybe he's just waiting for a certain date. And you got Wilson out there. Think about that. Would you take how about this? Cam Ward and Sanders or Russell Wilson and Rodgers, who would you go with for the year? I'm not talking forever, but for the year.
Wait.
Just hypothetically, like if you had two quarterbacks to choose from, that you need a quarterback, like the Giants need a quarterback. You could say Cleveland needs a quarterback, but Giants and Pittsburgh need a quarterback. The only options are you go with the two rookies and figure out who gets who, or you go with the two veterans who gets who. There's no crossover. Which group are you picking? I'm picking the veterans.
So it's really Cam Ward or Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah. Man, Wilson, I still think Wilson, I don't know what his problem is. He's got all the tools. He still can whip that ball around.
Yeah.
He can still move around good enough. I don't know. I don't know. You know how I felt about him when he was with Denver and even the latter part of Seattle. More about his brand. Every picture the guy took, it was like professionally made picture. Walking off the bus with a mink coat and the watch and the glasses and the briefcase. And, oh, wait, you looking at me? Take the picture. You know what I mean? Like, dude, you're going to play a football game. Shut up. What's wrong with you? You know what I mean? It always felt like he was more about his brand. And I don't know, just not getting it done. And I think it's more mental. Like even the analysts are like, what is he looking at? Like, guy's wide open. Now, granted, for a stretch, he played pretty well last year. Then at the end, it got bad. And now you don't have him. Fields goes to the Jets. See if they can resurrect him a bit. That quarterback position will be fun, little carousel this offseason. You know? Do you need to go get checked for anything? Like the cough? You sure? Okay. Too many cigars. You know, those cigars are bad for you, man. No cigars. They are bad for you. What's not bad for you is Team Tommy Mac. I love every one of them. Check out TommyMac.net, please. You'll see J-Dog Junk Removal. You'll see Morgan & Morgan. You'll see Cartman Flooring. Chris Rousseau's Bail Bonds. Hazar Sausage. The Baracus Group for your safety. Salt Air for your place to stay. Family Tradition Specialty Foods. Code Ninjas for your camps for kids. Freedom Finance for all your financial needs. And commercial real estate with Newmark Phoenix Realty Group. Just go to the webpage, if you will. This show will be there. The Horse's Mouth is there. And all the great members of Team Tommy Mac are there. Click on their respective logos, and you will be taken right to their respective websites. Love having Team Tommy Mac on board. All right, you look at the draft with the draft order. Where are the Jaguars going to end up and still get their guy? And who is their guy? Who is their guy? I don't know. You know, again, I wanted to see some numbers on Mason Graham, some video on Mason Graham, see him moving in space kind of thing. I haven't seen it yet. Now, if I haven't seen it, it's just because I haven't found it. Send it to me on Messenger. I'd love to look at it because to me, it matters. And when I first saw that I didn't see any numbers, I'm like, well, is he not working out? I'm not drafting the kid if he doesn't work out. Like that, I wouldn't draft him. At least at number 5. I may take him down the road a little bit, and take a swing at, 15 or 20, but not at 5. So I wonder if he did. I would like to see what his numbers are. And what if I saw somewhere where he runs like a 5.1 at 296? Kenneth Grant's a 5. I'm telling you, Kenneth Grant type, but I'll just say Kenneth Grant as my one technique, I'm salivating as a linebacker. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? Can you imagine when they come out and I'm behind them as a linebacker and I've got Mason Smith or Eric, who's 6'8", and then I've got this big monster of a human being in Kenneth Grant. I got my two edges who look like freaking, the horses that the cops ride downtown. These things are massive, aren't they? Just beautiful creatures that can haul ass. You know what I mean? I mean, that's formidable, man. I don't know if I feel that way with Mason Graham. Again, we need a 1 technique more than a 3. And Eric ain't playing 1. He don't like playing 3. He ain't playing 1 if he don't like playing 3. So you need a bruiser in there that's going to clog up some space. Can you move back? I think you're going to be in position to trade back. Now, you can't look. You're not, unless it's some kind of crazy deal. It's going to be anywhere. We're at 5, right? So once you go past 10, I mean, it's going to cost you a ton. It might cost you a good amount to go from, like if you're Carolina and you want to jump up, You know what I mean? From 8. Jets at 7. They need a tackle. What if they want to jump and they want one of these guys? I'm telling you, it's going to be really interesting. I do think, look, if Titans go Cam, which I think they're gonna, I mean, think about it. Why wouldn't you move on from Will Levis? And you're coaching his second year, right? Callahan, you inherited Levis. You didn't pick him. And by the way, does Liam get credit for how bad Levis is in the pros? Because he got credit for getting him ready to be a second-round pick, but nowhere good in the pros. Where's the credit fall to that one? I'm being facetious, but don't you move on if you're them? And I mean, come on, you know what type of business this is. If you don't start winning, like year 2, they don't win, guess what's going to happen? He's on the chopping block after year 3, if not before. So if you're him, aren't you pleading like, look, man, I can't win. I can't win with him. We've shown it. We've seen it. He's got tools, but he don't have everything we need. Let's take a shot at this Cam Ward kid. I could see that happening very much. Unless they're working to deal with the 2 veterans that we mentioned, which I haven't heard anything, but I would be. Because I'm not rolling with Levis anymore. I'm not. And I know I'm a little biased because I can't stand that mayonnaise commercial, and why he would ever do that is beyond me. I don't care. Oh, the money. Screw the money. How about your integrity? Look like a clown doing a splits on freaking mayonnaise. It's about mayonnaise. You're talking about how dreamy you are. What dork. Like, you know what I mean? Like come on, man. Grow a pair. Have some integrity, crying out loud. Anyway, but on the field, he's not that good. He'll look good at times. He'll look terrible at times. So if I'm Tennessee, I'm moving on. So then you come down to the Browns, and you're like, well, they grabbed Kenny Pickett. Well, Kenny Pickett's not the long-term deal. We know that, but can he hold down the fort a little bit? Maybe. I mean, you're sitting there. You've got, the one disgruntled, not anymore because you paid him, Myles Garrett. You bring in Abdul Carter. What a rush. You know what I mean? Now, granted, Cleveland's been known for their defense lately, so keep expanding on that, I guess. Then it comes down, because I don't see them taking – I don't know, man. Again, I'm just saying for me, Sanders worries me a bit, and I think he's too risky. Risky in the fact that he's going to turn my team into a contender. You know what I mean? Like, because that's why you would take him at number 3. Like, I really believe this kid is going to change our position at quarterback, which will change our position in the NFL and give us a chance to win a championship. I don't see that out of Sanders. I potentially see it out of Ward, but I'm not totally like, yeah, Ward's unbelievable. But I think if you're Tennessee, it's worth the shot. You know what I mean? He's going to be better than Levis. I think he's going to be better. How much better? We don't know. We have no idea. We know how crazy this quarterback position is. You see how quickly it humbles guys coming from college. They get humbled quick because it's a lot harder. Guys aren't, running down the field wide open. You don't have all day to throw. You got to make tough throws while the grown mass men are coming to kill you. And they want to kill you. And to be honest, you deserve to be killed, at least for the day, in my opinion. But then you get down to the Browns. So I don't know. And then the G-men. If you're one of those guys, let me ask you this. If Travis Hunter, and by the way, I might be in the minority here, I'm playing him at corner with a package on offense. That's how I would have him play. He would be my shutdown corner, period. And then let's build a package or two around him on the offensive side of the ball. But that's how I would have it. So why wouldn't the Browns take him? You got your Myles Garrett. You know what I mean? Like, why don't you take Travis Hunter and be that shutdown corner that everybody covets? And now you got the rush. I mean, you'll be hard to throw against you. Especially if Travis is that good on the level where he could take out the number 1 receiver on the other side, or even the number 2, and just completely keep him out of the game. You go. Then what happens there? Now Carter falls. Carter or Sanders if you're the Giants. Somebody will probably trade up for that. Have a shot at Abdul Carter. If he's anywhere near Micah Parsons, don't you want this kid? You know what I mean? He built just like him. He played in college almost just like him, if not just like him. Can he do it in the NFL? I do. My point of bringing this up, I know everyone saw Travis Hunter. I'd love him, but I just don't think he's going to be there. I think someone's going to come up and grab a shutdown corner if he truly is. When's the last time we've really had one? Sauce? Maybe? And shutdown's tough.
Surtain.
He's unbelievable. But we know that what would that do for our defense? Be tremendous. But I just don't see him lasting there. And I do think if he's gone, and Carter's gone, I'm moving back and grabbing Grant, and I might grab him in the top 10, or I'm probably going tackle. You got to make this offensive line as good as it can be. To be honest, let me ask you this, Grammage. If Walker Little wasn't, now granted he'd be a free agent, but let's just say he wasn't under an extension. Would you want him back?
No.
I wouldn't either. I'd say time to move on. That's where I'd want back.
Give the guys you just signed a shot and draft somebody.
Yeah. Which I'm not saying that could happen. I know what. Look, there would be a lot of offensive line coaches out there to be like, let me have them. But now here's another side of it. If you're Liam Cohen and company, don't you want to see if you can get that out of him? What if he turns into that aggressive? Look, I know what Liam Cohen's going to preach to the O-line. We finish blocks around here, period. And if you don't want to finish blocks, you may not be a starter on my team or on my team at all if you're an offensive lineman. That's the message. They want guys that are that aggressive. They want to be an aggressive offensive line. Even teetering on that whistle, which I'm fine with. That makes them nasty. And if you're not going to fit the bill, I don't think a small contract saves you. Your draft status from 4 years ago doesn't save you either. So you either jump on board this animal train where we're just mean and nasty on the field, or you get off it. And I'm not going to say I know that for a fact, but I know that for a fact that that's the message. So to me, I'd want somebody that's coming in that has that. And maybe you can get it out of Walker. Maybe you can. I'm not saying you can't. I told you the conversation I had with his brother's friend. That like a beach bowl. And he was like, yeah, man, we've been waiting for him to just light a fire. Like, we even have this joke, like someone should punch him in the face before a game and get him mad. You know, we used to do that with John Henderson. Maybe it'll work for Walker. You know, I'm not being facetious on the conversation. It was a real conversation, but I get it. Kid's ultra talented. But I think I've seen enough too. I mean, he's had 4 years to do something. He couldn't beat out Cam. Cam was terrible last year. Can he resurrect in a year with Houston? He didn't beat out Jawan Taylor when he had it. He had every chance to beat out Jawan Taylor for that right tackle spot, and he didn't. You can give him all the excuses you want, but he's been in the league long enough. I'm not saying get rid of him. I would trade for him if I'm going to go offensive tackle. I would. I'd send him out on the trade and see what can happen. But I think we're going to be in an interesting position, you know, with somebody trying to move up. You got us. I don't think we're moving up. Vegas, Jets, Carolina Saints, Bears. Bears want to move up. They need a left tackle. You know, I know they got one, but they may want somebody young and dominant. There's only two right now. You might throw a third in there, Kelvin Banks Jr. out of Texas. Possibly. But with all that being said, I think we're in a really good position here in Jacksonville. I do. I think we're going to have a chance to move back. I think we're going to get an impactful player. I think it's going to be a position of need. The needs, OT, DT, corner, wide receiver, and safety. And I'd like a linebacker, too. By the way, Grammage, I threw out there earlier, I'm not calling for it, but I could see it, and I'd be okay with moving on from Foye Aluakin and letting Ventrell Miller take over as Mike. I'd be okay with that. I'm not ready to move on from Foye because that means such a negative connotation because he's been really good. But I think Ventrell Miller adds a little bit more speed to the position. And I could see them saying, hey, Foye, we love you. You're fantastic. But we're gonna go a younger route.
I think next year.
Yeah, maybe. Maybe. Could need another year. What do they do with Brandon Lloyd? What do you do with him?
You mean Devin Lloyd?
What did I say? Brandon Lloyd. Devin Lloyd. Sorry. Thank you. Grammage. Fresh off of Vegas. You're sharp on point. I appreciate it. Yeah, Devin. What do you do with him? We can play him. He can't be your starting linebacker, can he? On early downs? I know what I'm doing with him. I'm putting him in the DN rotation. Or the edge. Maybe I play on short yardage and goal line because you're a good hitter. Other than that, letting the other guys handle the duties. So it'll be interesting. Got a month left till the draft Thursday night. It'll be fun to watch. No question about that. I'll be back on the show later this week on Friday before the appearance on Jaguars Today with Mike Dempsey, Fat Tony, and Dylan Denmark. Saturday night, the Dad Bods are at the local in Neptune Beach. Hope you come out and check us out. We'll be rocking. It'll be a good rocking show. We're actually trying to get together and rehearse because we haven't in a while. Trying to do that Friday the night before. And the Horse's Mouth on Thursday. You can catch it all at TommyMac.net. I appreciate everybody signing up as new subscribers. I always like seeing those emails when they come through. Thank you, Team Tommy Mac. Thanks to all of you that listen and watch this show each and every week. Always appreciative. Looking forward to seeing what the Jags do as they continue to build the 2025 roster. Until next time, y'all stay safe out there and stay cool. And we'll see you next time right here on Catching Up with Tommy Mac. Peace and love, everybody. Have a great day.